The Seahawks have not had many stinkers, Matt, this year. They've gotten off to a good start, and Brady and I did kind of our first half takeaways as to why they've gotten off to a 5-2 start here, and even in both those games had every chance to win them and have been playing really, really well. Just before we dig into some of the cast of characters, just from your optics, you came out as one of the legends for these Seahawks. You've gotten to see them and watch them. I know you talk to Cowherd quite frequently about these Seahawks. From your perspective, why do you think they sit atop the NFC West at 5-2 right now?
Well, they've got a clear identity of who they're trying to be. And I think they, got off track a little bit week one. I think if you look at week one, it really was, I don't know if you call it a stinker, but like they let one slip away to the 49ers. Ever since that game, I feel like they've had a clear picture of who they're trying to be. And it's been awesome. I mean, Sam Darnold coming in, having the kind of year that he's having, I think a lot of people were saying, oh, this was a bad sign, like in the national scene. They're like, oh, they're remembering him from the Jets or remembering him from early in his career. And they said, oh, it was a one-hit wonder and all this and all that. And he's gone out and shown that he's really an impressive quarterback. I think one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. So, like, I think that's a huge part of it. But defense has been great. Run game, when they don't forget about it, it's been great. And, off to a good start. Still competitive, but I think they've got a great schedule this year. And I really think this is a team to be excited about.
Hey, Matt, Brady Henderson here. Good to talk to you. One of the reasons why the Seahawks made that move with Darnold, in addition to obviously what you see on the field, is getting that guy in the locker room and that kind of leader. And I know that was a big part of the evaluation, is the kind of leader that Sam is. And one of the things that I've heard him described as is, in the locker room, he's just one of the guys. He's a dude. What does that mean to just be one of the guys, and why is that so important for a quarterback?
I just think it means he's humble. I don't know that that's always been said at the quarterback position on every team. Maybe that team too. I don't know. I wasn't in there, but humility is attractive, probably in any business, especially when you're getting paid as much as quarterbacks are getting paid these days. But really, like, if we think about it, Sam Darnold wasn't in the plans for the Seahawks. They were running it back with Geno Smith. I mean, that was the plan. And then things went a little south. Feelings got hurt in the contract negotiation. Maybe humility went away a little bit. Pete Carroll all of a sudden is the head coach in Las Vegas with the Raiders. And, hey, Geno, you're my guy. However that went down, it went down kind of it was a surprise. It was a surprise. All of a sudden, Geno's gone. DK Metcalf's gone. Lockett's gone. Like, it's a new OC. All this change. And then the Seahawks were saying, okay, hey, wait, now we need a quarterback. What are we going to do? We're going to do it in the draft. We're going to do it in free agency. Let's go out and get the top guy in free agency. And what I love about Sam Darnold is he's still a young player, but he's a guy with a ton of NFL experiences and a lot of sort of bad experiences that have sort of maybe humbled him a little bit, or maybe it's already his natural, disposition. But I think the locker room respects what he's gone through as a player. They respect that he got booed out of New York. They respect that he was, buried on the depth chart at other places. They respect how he's kind of like pulled himself out of the struggle. I think guys relate to that in the locker room. And then I think they really respect how well he's played. And he's played great. Last year he played great, and he's playing great this year.
You know who I think would have enjoyed coaching Sam Darnold? The guy you mentioned earlier, Mike Holmgren. Because he is a rhythm guy. Matt, watching every snap this year and so many of them under center, I can't help but chuckle at times like, oh my gosh, that's what we were doing 25 years ago. Like, that was a hitch route thrown on third step from under center. That was a glance route. That was Dino thrown on time in that window. Like, when you watch Sam yourself, do you see some of Matt Hasselbeck in the Seahawks offense of the early 2000s?
Yeah, well, it's back in style. That's the funny thing. Like, even when we did it in Seattle, I think it went out of style and then came back in style, and now it's back in style again. We were popping guards. Like, we'd missed the trend. And so when people were coming with crazy third down blitzes on first and second down out of an odd front, meaning both guards are uncovered, like, we never stopped popping guards. Chris Gray and Hutch, like, they were just, we're still popping. We'll pop into the Mike, the Sam, and we'll pop to the free safety, the corner. Like, we'll just keep pop. And so, like, the Seahawks have this great rhythm now where it's all this check with me stuff. We can be two tight ends. We can be in a fullback, but we're under center just as much as anybody right now. And I think a lot of the young defensive players in the league that have grown up in like this spread, going against spread offenses and stuff like that, They don't have time on task. They don't have hours defending and reading run game from under center with play actions and bloody nose flats and all the different things that we did, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. It's really coming on strong right now. And I think I give Mike Macdonald the credit because he had a vision for this. He had a vision for this when he retooled the offense, coaching staff and players, of what he wanted to be offensively and how it would complement the defense.
In a big picture, Matt, I want to stick with that topic of being under center, and I'll back up here just because at ESPN we have this great database where we can look up, under center versus shotgun percentages, and I can't tell you how many times last season Brock texts me and says, "Can you look up how often they've been under center?" And I don't think he liked the answer a lot because it was primarily a shotgun offense last season under Ryan Grubb. It's been flipped, and I'm curious, just from a quarterback's perspective, what really changes when you go under center for the quarterback, for the offense in general?
Well, they probably talk about it way too much on TV. They get all these stats. I got a feeling that a lot of people on TV, on the national scene, they don't watch any football. They just read stats and they're like, "Oh, this is what I see." It's like, I don't think you're watching, if we're being real, okay? But no, as a quarterback, what is different? Because sometimes it's like you call the play and it's like, "You want to go gun?" Yeah, I'll go gun. "Oh, no, I'll go under center." It's like a little thing. But the reason that Mike Holmgren would never let us go shotgun early on, unless we had to, it's because Joe Montana said something once, and he's absolutely right. When you're under center and the ball hits your hands, and you have the ball immediately after it's snapped, your eyes are on the free safety, or your eyes are on the defender that you need to have them on immediately. And it's usually the free safety, but your eyes are there immediately. But when you're in shotgun and you're catching the snap, your eyes have to drop just for a second to make sure you catch the snap. And also, if we're telling the truth here, not every center is great at snapping in shotgun. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's all over the place. There's a little bit of adventure, but either way, even if it's a perfect snap, your eyes have to drop down, and you're just a half second late seeing what the free safety or the corner or whatever they're doing. And so that is a real factor. But there's also a benefit because you're way back behind. You're way back. You're like 5 yards when you catch the ball. So it's a little bit of a I don't know, there's give and take. Also, the back is typically offset right or left. There's tendencies with that. They can kind of decide what you're not going to do. But I like both. I like mixing it up. I just think that the teams that can't go under center and they're not good at going under center, I think you're just giving the defense less to worry about.
What do you take away from your time coming back with the 50 Legends and the weekend that was? Unfortunately, it was the Buccaneer game, and it was a great offensive game. If you liked offense, it was up and down the field, and Sam and Baker both over, 80% in that game, never done in the history of the NFL. So it was a whole bunch of offense. But even more importantly, what was it like to be back around the guys in the organization that weekend?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the Seahawks are a first-class organization. Not every team is like that. Not every team reaches back. I think it's great for the players, obviously, who played. It was great for us to be together. I was with guys that I played with when we were in the AFC West, guys like Chad Brown and Michael Sinclair, and guys, hadn't seen in forever. And then I was also with guys that I played with under Pete Carroll, obviously Marshawn, but I guess it wasn't with Richard because of the lockout, but Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, a lot of those guys, Brandon Mebane. It was awesome. It was incredible. And to have it, the fan reaction was incredible. The blue carpet, all of it. It was just really, it makes you really proud to be part of the organization. It's a huge honor to have worn that uniform and all those different uniforms, even the green ones that we wore that one time that people didn't like. It's a huge honor. So, it was really cool. And I think even just seeing in person, what they're building there in practice, it was so different from the Mike Holmgren years, and yet very similar. And it was so different than the Pete Carroll years, and yet very similar. And so I think that just showing Mike Macdonald is his own head coach, and he's doing it sort of his own way. And I think it's really authentic and great.
Does Jackson Smith and Jigba remind you of any receiver that you played with, whether it was here in Seattle, Green Bay, anywhere else?
I want to throw names out to you, but he's so stinking good. I don't know if it's fair to him to do that. I mean, when you even just look at Sam Darnold's touchdown reel, it's oh, there's JSN. Oh, there's JSN. Did the defense not know it was going to happen? Who else are you really targeting is the guy that, hey, here's the guy we got to take away today. defensive coordinators usually call it like, where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? You know, like remember those books? You had to find Waldo. He's like the one guy you got to find every play, and they move him around. So like, he's the focal point, and yet here he is running the post. Here he is running a Dino. Here he is, like he's still getting open. And so like everyone talks about chemistry and new quarterback, and like they're not skipping a beat. He's a beast. He doesn't look like he should be, but he is. And so I'm a fan. I mean, I don't know how you can't be, but is he top 3 in the NFL? Yeah, maybe he might be. Like he really is that good. Has been that good.
I just got to ask real quick. Sorry, Brock. Dino. I know Dino's Pub across the highway from the VMAC. What's a Dino route?
The Dino route is almost as good as Dino's Pub. It's almost it's right up there. But it's a post corner post. And like the guys who run it the best, they don't even run it like a post corner post. Like they put their own spin on it. Like for me, Darrell Jackson was that guy. JSN, he'll just kind of like spray release, widen it out, and then he'll just give him a little like a little subtle crossover dribble. But you can see the corner just loses his balance. He's like right there, but he can't make the play. It's just like this little subtle thing. And the quarterback, when you trust that he's going to win his matchup on the corner, all you're doing is worried about the safety in your eyes, and you just cut it loose. And it's cool to see. It's like a throwback play, right, Brock? Like no one runs it anymore. Not really. Nope. So it's cool to see them run it.
I got to watch you and Bobby Engram, and you guys seem to build a chemistry so quickly, Matt. And there is some of JSN's game that is Bobby. Strong, low to the ground, unbelievable, just spatial awareness and feel. And then he's got what Bobby, I don't think, had, and that's 21, 22 miles an hour in his bag as well to like legitimately run by people. So from your life experience, whether it was Bobby or others, how did you develop that chemistry that quickly?
It's a weird thing. Like some guys are just so easy to read, and like my favorite guy might not be somebody else's favorite guy. Like it's just a weird thing. But you just sometimes have a connection with somebody, and you understand what they're thinking, what you're thinking, and I don't know. I think the word for me is decisive. I just feel like he's very, very decisive. JSN, like what he's not gonna do, and sometimes knowing what he's not gonna do helps you know what he probably is gonna do. And he's got he's got that like that feel and that angry and that like aggressiveness of like a Doug Baldwin. He also has that top end like deep shot stuff of like a Tyler Lockett in his younger years or other guys. And it's just, I don't know. It's like I think he's still underrated, if that's even possible. But people are sleeping on him. We're not all the way through the year, but like if you kind of project out how this thing might go, he's going to have an incredible year.
And Matt, I want to ask you more about Sam Darnold and just Sam Darnold on the field and what you're seeing there. And, one of the things when Brock and I were talking about our takeaways, one of mine was just how much of a playmaker Darnold is. And you see him, avoiding sacks and getting the ball out quickly, but you also see him escaping and creating big plays on the run. Just what have you thought about his game overall and just that playmaking aspect in specifically?
Yeah, well, I always thought that an underrated part of his game was like his legs. Like he's really mobile. I mean, I thought that coming out of college. Like you don't think of him that way, but he's really great that way. That didn't surprise me. I think the thing that's been really encouraging is how well he's protected the football this year. He's got 4 interceptions on the year. He had this one bad one last week, but 2 I think against Pittsburgh, and then the one I think at the end of the Tampa game. Other than that, he's been great. Like he's been protecting the football, protecting the team, protecting the ball, and still with this like cut it loose mentality. Like he's not like little check down Charlie. Like he's cutting it loose when the ball's there. And he's like, like, hey, if it's there, I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to spread the ball around. I think that's been great. And when you're coming in, when you're trying to learn all the new people, you're brand new to the team, you got a new play caller, you haven't really, been through the fire together the way that they're going through it now. I think that's the big unknown. And I think to me, that's probably the thing that he's been great. Other people are going to like, oh, Justin Herbert's throwing for all these yards and all this stuff. Yeah, he's throwing interceptions though. Like that's a very important part of the game. And I think like the last piece is just like really protecting the ball in the pocket. That's like the next level of really taking your game to kind of like an MVP type level.
Mm-hmm. Hey, last thing for me here, Matt, just expound a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, on what you said earlier of when you're around that facility and you've been around there a bit, you're around there draft time, you're around there a little OTA time, you're around there for the Legends weekends. When you said Mike Macdonald's a little bit of Mike Holmgren, but he's his own guy. He's a little bit of Pete Carroll, but he's his own guy. Expound on that, if you wouldn't mind, just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he's young. He's very young. He's very humble. It's almost like, hey guys, like I don't deserve to be your head coach. Like what should our slogan be? You know, I don't deserve to pick it. Like it's your team. It's not my team. This is your team. Who am I? Like what have I ever done? Look at my resume. What was I doing 5 years ago? You guys are the stars. What should we be about? Like what's our mission here? Like what are we here for? Are we here to collect check? Are you here to collect a check? Or are you here to do something special? You know, like, and then he gives them ownership of it. And like the best teams that I was ever on were the teams where the players cared more than the coaches. And they had more skin in the game. And the coaches care all the way. These guys sleep in their office. I mean, they really care. But like when the players are all in, and he does a great job of that. Even in the Tampa game, you know, he was the first one to stand up in a really authentic way. Like, hey, swing and a miss on that defensive game plan. That was on me. Yeah, I'll be better. That's my bad. Okay. Now there's some technique things you guys can work on, but like if we're giving blame, put it on me. That was my fault. Okay. I just think there's a humility and a respect there. But you know, when you talk about schedule and like that stuff, it's like very Holmgren-esque. You know, players and families at mock game. I mean, Brock, you remember what Holmgren was like on a mock game. Like you were so afraid to make a mistake on a Saturday. Like Sundays were easy because Saturdays were like Dilfer, when he would practice on Saturdays, was like, you know, stressed out of his mind to throw an incompletion. And like, that was the atmosphere. You go to a Mike Macdonald Saturday mock game. The families are there. His dog's running around the field. His, you know, like kids are running around the field. It's just so different. Very much like Pete, but you know, I don't know. It was like a lot of, it was cool. It was different, but I just think like with any head coach, the authenticity is a really important piece. Like I'm not trying to be some other person. I'm just me. And if you get to know me, you know what I care about, what's important to me, what I'm hanging my hat on. And when you get in those gray areas as a player, like you say, okay, what should I do right now? And like, boom, Mike Macdonald, what's he care about? He cares about the mission. What's the mission? The mission is like what our goals are. Like, that's it. If anything gets in the way of that, like it's out. I'm all in. And I just think it's nice as a player when you have a coach that's really clear of who he is. And I think that's what Mike is as a young coach too. And he's learning on the fly, and he's doing a great job.
And Matt, last one for me. I think Brian Nemhauser, the Hawk blogger, asked you this a while back, and I thought it was a great question. But how do you know when you're good as a player on a team? How do you know when your team is really like has a chance to do something?
Yeah, I don't think you need to know. Like the year we went to the Super Bowl, like we had no idea that was the year. Like we had no idea that we were going to be the 1 seed. We were going to rest our starters in the last week of the season. Like we had no idea. Like week 1, we even get spanked. We go down to Jacksonville and just get like run out of town. We didn't know, but you don't need to know. Like let other people know. You know, our offensive coordinator in the Holmgren years was Gil Haskell. He wasn't like real hands-on, but he was great at this like 35,000 foot view of our team. And he'd come back after a win on the plane and like grab your arm and he'd be like, hey, we're going to be all right this year. Like, we're going to be all right. And give you like a wink. And like, it was like his job to know, or somebody like that's job. Like leave that to like a Leslie Frazier or somebody like that. Like if you're a player, you're just all in the work. You just focus on that one play at a time. The score of the season will take care of itself, kind of a mindset. And there's some things like I feel like I'm a little bit of a 35,000 foot viewer of this team. Seeing what Sam Darnold's doing at the line of scrimmage with the check with me system, audibling versus blitz, making it look easy, making it look routine. Like this is a team that has a chance to do something really, really special this year. But again, it's a one game at a time. And then when you get the chance to win those huge games this year, Rams game, Colts game, Niners, you'll get another shot. You got to do it. Like you got to make those plays at the moment of truth. And you can't come home with like a woulda, coulda, shoulda. You got to do it.
Go get it. Matthew, thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. See you guys.
There he goes, Matthew Hasselbeck. I had something.